Hello, welcome to Study Skills for Distance Learning. My name is Chris Navarro. I am an intern counselor for Keith McCarthy Academy. I am working with Mrs. Larissa Jefferson over there. I am finishing up my grad school requirements to become a counselor, and this is a presentation to help you all learn some specific study skills for distance learning while you're on Zoom. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that everyone has an idea of why they need study skills. So the purpose of the study skills is to help you as a student maximize your learning process. It's going to require a commitment of time, effort, motivation, and discipline to explore all your avenues leading towards your academic success. We want to make sure that you're successful here and also want to make sure that while you're distance learning, your success doesn't hinder. So my philosophy of study skills is that it's up to you. There's no guarantees. You need to check and recheck the course on your Canvas. That means going through and making sure that everything is checked off and everything is properly turned in. It's a brand new system for all of you, I understand. But we just want to make sure that you get all your coursework turned in on a timely manner. Monday through Thursday evenings, this is a recommendation. You should study a minimum of 1 hour a night. It's just a recommendation. It's not a necessary thing, but if you want to have academic success, I would definitely recommend at least 1 hour a night. Studying on weekends is very important to achieve academic success. You should study about a minimum of 1.5 hours, and this is including Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you can, what you can do is go onto Google Sheets and log your time and just say, I studied Saturday from 9 to 10. And each day that'll add up over time. I do recommend that you don't study after 9 p.m. on the weekdays or even on the weekends because you need to sleep. You need to rest. You need to make sure that you're getting proper sleep and proper rest so that you can function the next day. And also, just do it. Do the work, put in the effort, and studying and doing your homework and making sure everything's turned in on time is going to get you those grades you want to achieve your academic success. All right. The next thing is just want to go over some virtual classroom etiquettes. This is more of a reminder for all of you who are doing this distance learning and are new to it. Some of our students are familiar with distance learning, but because of the pandemic and everything that's new, these are some little tips, etiquette tips for you as a student to make sure that you're not only being considerate for yourself, but also the students around you and as well as the teacher. So we want to make sure that you're on time and you enter the meeting with your video and sound muted. Now, it depends on the teacher because some teachers don't require you to be on camera. And I know maybe you're not properly dressed. You're probably still in your pajamas, but that's okay. It's up to the teacher. That's the teacher's discretion whether or not they want you to be on camera or not. I personally would say turn on your camera. Let your teacher know that you're there, that you're making an effort. Be prepared and ready to learn. Be in the workplace that is quiet and away from distractions. Make sure you have a setup in your room or an office, somewhere that you can go to every day. Make sure it's the same place every day, that you're there and it's well organized, it's put together properly. And I'll go over that in the next couple of slides where you can have this skill to help you in your work environment. We want to make sure you're being respectful of others and always stay positive. Be seated, calm, and facing the camera. I get it. You're sitting for a long time. You get the jiggles or wiggles, and you got to stand up. That's okay. Stand up, but make sure you're still paying attention. Be muted until the teacher calls on you. Be ready to raise your hand when the teacher calls on you. I think Zoom has an application where it's a button on some of your chat functions. That all depends on how the teacher facilitates their Zoom meeting. Be sure you eat before the meeting and not during the meeting. That's just proper etiquette. If the teacher doesn't want you eating in the classroom, it's probably quite possible that they don't want you eating during the Zoom meeting. Now, again, that's up to the teacher. If the teacher allows that, again, it's the teacher's discretion. This one's very important. Be sure to if you have any family members or younger brothers and sisters or even older siblings, let them know that you're in a meeting so they can't distract you or your classmates. We have a lot of interesting things going on where in the background, I mean, you can probably see in my background, there's a fan going. I don't know if that's a distraction for some people, but it might be for others. So one thing to be sure of is that you're in a place where it's quiet. You have enough light so that we can see your face if your camera is on, and we just want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to get academic, to be successful in your academics. So just keep in mind that the class can see and hear what is going on in all your work area during the Zoom meetings. So it's important to make sure that those background noises and distractions are very limited. So as you and your family become more comfortable with this virtual and distance platform, it's easy to forget that they might be talking in the background and some things might be said and or observed by others in the class or vice versa. So be aware, because that street runs both ways. That is for both the teachers, the learners, everyone who's on Zoom. Just be aware that that's an issue. Okay. Let's move on to my next slide. So another this is not more of a philosophy, but it is a thing that we have. Excuses and distractions. You know, just like I said earlier, distractions can be those people walking around in the background or saying things in the background. But here we have, I just want to ask you some questions that I want you to think about. What are some obstacles to your success in high school or school, for a matter of fact? So this is more geared towards high school, but I think this is going to be good for anyone who is in the distance learning environment. What are some obstacles? Think about it. What hinders you? What stops you from being successful in your academics? Think about something that can hinder your academic success. There's a great amount of excuses and distractions that can keep us from our academic success. Especially right now with distance learning, we have the option to sit here and scroll mindlessly and be distracted by the internet, be distracted by our cell phones. Just like I said in the last slide, be distracted by other members in our family or other siblings that might be Zooming or might need help. Those are distractions. So we want to make sure that you're successful. So in order to get rid of those distractions, you got to stay focused. Make sure that you're on top of your game. The next thing I want to talk about is grade importance. Maybe we don't think about the grades being so important. It depends. It depends on how you look at it. So I want to give you an opportunity to see how grades are important and kind of share this with you. So grades are a key to opening doors of other opportunities, whether it be high school graduation, graduation from 8th to 9th grade, or 6th to 7th grade, or 5th to 6th grade, whatever it is. These are going to be the grades are going to be a key. You know, our car, our house, our office keys, they open up doors. The same can be used for grades. These grades can open up doors to your academic future. They can open up doors for workplace success as well. You know, a lot of schools and employers, they look for students with high grade point averages. And this is just proof for their willingness to work hard and evidence that they have learned something. It's also important to know that maintaining a minimum of a 2.0 is necessary to participate in sports and extracurricular activities in the higher grades, like 8th grade, 7th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and so on into your high school academic career. For you high schoolers, a minimum of 2.0 to meet the high school graduation is a requirement by most colleges if that's where you plan to go. Some trade schools, they expect as high as a 3.0, so that's a B or better. And if you take honors or advanced classes, you can earn additional points towards GPA calculations because these classes have an increased level of difficulty. So if you're taking those higher courses like honors classes, you're gonna be putting points onto your GPA, which is great. So no matter what your grade is, it's important for you to understand how the grading system works. And I just want to show you. This is just an example. I think this is the next slide. Yeah. So this is just a basic example of the grading scale. Um, Let me put it to you this way. Let's talk about money. Um, we all know how to save money, put money in the bank. The basic concept of that is you say you get money from grandma, grandpa, or you get a an allowance from your parents. Put that if you put that money in the bank, you're going to save it for something else later that you want to buy, or maybe save it for college. What I want to share with you is that these grades that you earn are the same. They're the foundation for your future opportunities. So think about it, like I said, with money. I'm going to specifically say for high school right now is that you have so much money in the bank. You have 220 credits that you need to graduate. So if you're receiving a D or an F, let's say, it's like you're making a withdrawal. You're taking that money out of the bank. So you're not earning enough money to get you to that opportunity of graduation. If you're receiving A's, B's, and C's, that's like putting money in the bank. That's putting money towards your credits to graduate. Um, the same can apply for all grades, but for the sake of high school and graduation, let's put that money in the bank. Um, I can say that if you look at this as like money here, just pretend that's $100 you're putting in for each A, $90, $89, and so on. You're going to be withdrawing money. You're going to not get as much money here. So I just want to make that analogy, that little comparison to like putting money into the bank about let's get those grades. Let's put the grade in. Let's put the effort in. Let's study hard and put that money into the bank. So here's a little thing for time management that I want you to try. I want everyone, if you can, right now, if whether it be on your cell phone or you have one of those clocks that is a face clock that has the 12, 1, and 2. And I want you to, I think this will probably work better for your cell phone. So set your timer for 1 minute. And what I want you to do is I'll give everybody a minute to set their timer for 1 minute. When you're ready, uh, just press go or the play button or whatever it is to make that go. And I want everyone to just kind of wait, either stare at the timer, stare at the screen, look at the timer as it goes, okay? Here we go. That is about 1 minute from the time I said go. Think about how long that was. Think about how much time was spent either staring at that time countdown or just staring at the screen or just kind of sitting here waiting for me to go to the next slide. So what I want to kind of say about that is that time flies when we're doing things that we enjoy versus the things that we don't enjoy doing, such as studying or homework or maybe sitting in on Zoom classes or sitting in on our classes listening to our teacher's lecture. Think about how you manage your time now. How can you manage your time more effectively to achieve that academic success? If you have a personal career plan and you know what you want to do after high school, learning to manage your time will help you reach your career goals. So I want to ask you, let's go back. Oh, one more. How and when do you study? Do you study? If you don't have any study skills, we can work on that. All we have is time now. We have time now during this shelter in place or this pandemic where everyone says that we shouldn't go out, and some of us are maybe taking that a little bit more seriously than others. But how do you make time? Does time Do you use your time well? Are you productive with your time? Do you use it wisely? Do you take the time to go over and recheck certain Canvas assignments? Do you use your time to ask teachers questions? It seems now that during this distance learning time, we have the time to do all of that. It's up to you to manage your time wisely. So think about it. How and when do you study? All right, that's something for you to question yourself. Okay, what does your study environment look like? Think about where you study. Think about where you do your work, or where you keep your supplies and how you organize your area. What does it look like to you? Is it organized? Is it disorganized? Do you have things all over the place? Here's a couple of things you can do to improve your environment. So, number one, make sure it's quiet, a well lit area, preferably a desk or a table that is clutter free. I know that's difficult in times now where you might not have that area, but even if you can do a makeshift desk or a makeshift office, use that same place every day to do your work and study. Okay. Another important thing is to make sure that you keep your school schedule in that study area. Make sure that you know, especially now in distance learning, because there's no bells to tell us to go to the next class, that you're on top of when your next class starts, or pay attention to when your teacher is saying, okay, I want you to check back in at this time. Okay, so make sure that you have a schedule written down somewhere, or you can print it out from, I think, Infinite Campus. I'm not sure about that, but you can ask me later or Mrs. Jefferson later. Keep your resources nearby. Excuse me. Take your books home. I think some schools sent out books. A lot of them are virtual now. If this would apply mostly to if we were not distance learning, I probably should change that. But if we were in a class, like at KMA, like you used to, make sure if you were allowed to take a book home. Keep your resources nearby. All the resources we have now, especially with distance learning, are on, if it's an iPad from a school, a lot of the iPads came with applications that the teacher has downloaded for you. I know that in the elementary school, a lot of them use Seesaw, and that's a resource that they use to turn in homework and everything for them. There's a couple of other things, like some teachers may have virtual books. Make sure you know where to access those. If it's in your computer, a lot of books are virtual now, where you just click a button and your book is virtual. Make sure you have adequate supplies. We still are writing. I'm old school, so I still take notes on paper. I don't know if teachers out there have done that, or they switched over to a note-taking application where it's online. But make sure you have those resources available: the pens, pencils, highlighters, calculators if you need it. Our cell phones come with calculators. It says computer, but we're all on a computer or a laptop. Dictionary, thesaurus, those you can find online. If you just Google the application, you can Google the word and it'll come up, and you can use that. So everything is right here in front of us on our screens. Get rid of all your distractions. If you're having a radio playing, it's distracting you, get rid of it. If you're playing the radio from your cell phone or a playlist from Spotify on your cell phone, maybe turn it off. Maybe if you do have your cell phone with you, flip it upside down so that you're not seeing the screen. I know that we're in distance learning, we need to have contact with everybody to make sure that if parents need to get a hold of you and they're working and you're at home, but let them know that you're in class. That's why that schedule is important, to make sure that they know your schedule, that, oh, maybe I shouldn't text little Johnny while he's in his class. Okay. Communication with your parents and your siblings to make sure that the distractions are limited. Make sure there's no TV going on in the background, that you're not streaming while you're in Zoom class. Is probably not a good idea. I know that all teachers probably frown upon that. It's not a good idea. Any other applications or tabs that you have open on your computer, because that's a distraction. That's gonna ruin the environment that you study and work in. Okay, so get rid of those distractions. One thing I want to say about studying is that don't overdo it. Make sure that you take a break, and I'll go over the break, a little bit of the break things, how to take a break, how to decompress from studying later on in a couple minutes. But I don't want you to be overtired. If you can, if you're a napper, take a power nap so that you come back refreshed. I've taken a 10-minute power nap and I come back like a brand new person. If you're snacking, snack on some brain food. Some good brain food snacks are nuts, dark chocolate, vegetables, fruit, yogurt. This is going to help you be organized. This is going to help your brain function properly so that you can thrive in this study environment and this distance learning. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So I want you to maximize your learning. And how do we do that? In your Zoom classes, these are little tips for you to help you understand how you can maximize your learning potential. We want you to be successful, so we want to make sure that you have all access. So we want to make sure that you're attending class and you want to be there on time. That's why that schedule is so important. Make sure that you're there on time. I know Wednesdays is, for some schools, is a little bit different. Your teachers should and will let you know. For the I say younger classes, for like the elementary school classes, the teachers are usually in communication with the parents to let them know if there's a modification to the classroom schedule, especially right now in distance learning. If your parent is signed up for Parent Square. So make sure you attend those classes, you're on time. Listen for important information during the teacher's lectures. One example is like 3 main reasons for A, B, and C are. Get to know your teacher and find out what they expect from you as a student. This is important to know because if you don't have that communication with your teachers, this is not going to help you in your academic success. Apply everything you learn as often as possible. This can be from going over notes, reciting for the younger grades, reciting times tables, quizzing yourself with mathematics. So this is all things that you can do while during Zoom classes. One thing that we can do at home, a few things we can do at home. Let me just do this really quick. At home, it's important to make notes on important points from each assignment when studying. So make sure you're taking notes. If things aren't clear, make sure you review what isn't clear to you. Take note, and maybe you can ask your teacher the next day. Summarize in your own words what you've learned. Think about questions to ask the teacher if you don't understand a specific comment. These two go hand in hand. If there's something that's unclear, we want to make sure that you have the proper questions to ask the teacher that specific content that you're not understanding. Okay. If you're hesitant to ask your teacher, don't. There's no question or no problem, no concern is too big or too small. And if that specific teacher if you still don't understand from that teacher, reach out to another teacher. If that teacher doesn't understand, reach out to your counselors. That's what we're here for too, to help you understand and get you to be successful during your academics. Okay, you want to make sure that you have all the opportunities. Okay, there's no dumb questions. Ask those questions if you don't understand. Okay, this goes along with reading a textbook. If some of you have received textbooks or virtual books, this is a little helpful hint for you to get through it, because I'll be honest, it's hard for me to read a textbook from front to back. They're not always geared to the regular reader. Some of it can go over our heads. And honestly, think about when was the last time you actually sat there and read a textbook cover to cover. Maybe some of you had. That's awesome. Okay, but number one, we want you to review the vocabulary and any technical words at the end of each chapter, if there are any. Okay. Number two, read the main idea questions at the back of the chapter. A lot of times they have a summary as well, so we want you to go over that summary that's there. We want you to review all the charts, diagrams, pictures, and captions and graphs throughout the chapter And also, the type in which the headings are printed is a good clue for topic importance. A lot of times, things are bold and printed in bold-faced, or they're highlighted. That's a pretty good clue that that's of a good importance. Okay, so and just remember that the textbook is the way the author is thinking. So let them draw you in by their roadmap of reviewing. And at the end of the chapter, make sure you read it before you begin reading. Maybe that'll help you. I know that's helped me, is to go back at the end of the chapter, read the summary first, and then start the chapter. And I can go back and say, oh yeah, I remember when they talked about that in the chapter summary. Okay. So here are some test preparation tips. If you suffer from test anxiety like me, I think this will help you get over that a little bit. Everybody's different. So let's just go through this so that we can have an idea of what in each one of these, maybe you say that, oh, that's me, or yeah, I do that, or I can tell you right now that I'm probably all of these. I study from, I suffer from test anxiety. So you're not alone if you do. But let's go through some of these. So number one, don't procrastinate or cram. Studies have shown that cramming causes students to sacrifice sleep in order to study. Your sleep is critical to your academic success. If you sacrifice 3 to 4 hours of sleep, it's not going to help you. It's going to be very ineffective, and you're going to end up losing that sleep, and you won't do very well on the test. So we want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Sleep is very important. New studies are coming out, or have come out, that have shown how important it is to get at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep for you young men and women out there. Make sure that you're planning your study time. It's a good idea to make time for studying. Have a weekly or daily schedule that includes a regular study session. Make sure you stick with that plan. But if your plan changes, if your schedule changes, that's okay too. This is where I was talking about earlier about logging study time. This is a good way to log in that time, making a sheet, or just writing down on a piece of paper. Monday, or what's today? Today is Wednesday, September 15th. I studied for 1 hour. Okay, remember, I want you guys to try to study for an hour a day if possible. Okay, study those things that the teacher might clue you in on. Some teachers will say, this will be on the test. Okay, those are the clues and keywords, and that brings me into the next tip, which is watch for the clues. Okay, your teacher's going to provide information about what's going to be on the test. And if you can, participate in review sessions and ask questions about the concepts that are unclear. Let's go back. Let me go back to the slide because I accidentally pushed it up forward. Okay, so if your teacher in Zoom right now, since we're all distance learning, if your teacher stays after class for a couple of minutes and says, I'm going to be on Zoom for about 10 more minutes, if anyone has any questions, take that time and opportunity to ask a bunch of questions. Whatever it is that you're not clear about, make sure that you write it down the day before. That goes back to when you're at home doing your homework or studying and you're not clear about a concept. Write that down and write a note to it, put an asterisk or a star and say, I need to ask Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so about this tomorrow during our meeting. Okay. Email them if the teachers, I'm assuming they give you all their emails and information. Some have even given out personal cell phones. Text them, say, this is so-and-so from your English class or whichever class it is. Reach out to them. Let them know you're having a hard time with certain concepts about that you're unclear. Okay, and this last one here for this part of the test preparation tips, ask your teacher for direction. Okay, a lot of teachers are open to sharing with students suggestions as to how to prepare for the exams. A lot of them have been through this. We've all had taken tests ourselves. We all kind of know that, like myself, I said I'm not a very good test taker. This is the perfect opportunity for you to say, how would you do this, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so? How would you study for this test? Don't be afraid to ask about the subjects or topics either that are going to be on that test. Okay. And even what questions you might see. This is the time that if they offer the time after class, ask them, what kind of questions are you planning to put on the test? And make sure that they're not going to give you the answers, so don't ask them that. But make sure you ask them proper questions, things that you can watch out for, those clues, right? Going back up to here, the clues. Okay, these are more test preparation tips. So this would apply to if we were in class. Make sure you arrive early. Since we're all distance learning, make sure that you're arriving to the meeting on time, maybe 5-10 minutes before. If you're waiting in that waiting room, make sure, and you know there's a test, make sure that you're there on time. Wake up on time, set an alarm, brush your teeth, comb your hair. Make sure that you give yourself plenty of ample time to get to your meeting on time. Okay. We want to make sure that this is part of the academic success that you're going to have to make sure that you get those grades you deserve. Okay. Review early and with the group if you can. Okay. Start a final review of all your lecture notes, reading assignments, and other class materials that will help you prepare. Okay. If possible, see if you and some of your friends or peers in the classroom can start a review group via Zoom. We all have access to Zoom. I don't know if you students have a certain amount of minutes, but my children who are also in this district have had opportunities to Zoom with their friends. And whether it be for 15 or 20 minutes, you can do that. If you can start a review group via Zoom, that would be a good idea, because working as part of a study group with other ideas and other ways of looking at things can help you review for that exam. Everyone has a different way of looking at things, so that's a good way to help you with test preparation. Prepare an outline and visual aids. This is very important because a lot of people learn differently. We all learn differently. Visual aids are specifically important to those who may not be able to write an outline and study that way. So when you're preparing that outline, make sure you write down the main topics and concepts. Memorize the key facts and other information that you'll be tested on. If you're a visual learner, put down charts, diagrams, graphs, pictures of anything that's going to help you to combat that test and ace it. Okay, we want to make sure that your success is key in this testing. Okay, stay healthy. We don't want anyone getting sick, specifically now during this pandemic. We want you to get plenty of rest, eat healthy snacks like that brain food I was talking about earlier. Food, make sure you have, 3 square meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you can. Get plenty of sleep. Remember, I talked about sleep. Stay hydrated. That's especially relevant now since it's hot outside. Some of you who are, we all know living out here, it's really hot, and try to exercise when it's not hot. Exercise can help you to kind of recharge your batteries and give you that extra energy you need. All these things are going to help benefit you on the test. So if you suffer from any kind of test anxiety, try putting some of these that work for you into your daily routine, into your routine of when you know a test is coming or a quiz is coming, even if it's a quiz, right? Take your time. So these are all going to help you. Make them part of your learning habits. Make them a part of your daily schedule. All right. So I think this is the last slide. So this is life hacks to unwind your study time. Okay, you've done all the studying, you've done all the homework, you've been working hard, and even during like Zoom meetings and distance learnings, this all applies to now. Okay, we want to make sure that you're taking breaks. Not long breaks, because we don't want you to get behind, but you need to take those breaks. You need to decompress. You need to stand up. You need to stretch. You need to do all that stuff to get your eyes away from the screens. Okay. We want to make sure that you're able to I say download in a sense of like getting all that study and homework and Zoom time off of your shoulders. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Excuse me. Okay, but we also want to make sure that you're not taking too long a break so that you get behind in your schedule. Okay, so take constant 10-minute breaks. This kind of will apply to maybe after school, getting away from the screens and going for a walk or run. Just get out of the house for a while. When school's over, when you're done, if it's safe to go outside, if it's not too hot, go for a walk. You got a dog, take your dog for a walk. You like to run, go run. Get away from the screens, get away from the cell phones. I put in my earbuds and go for a long walk. Just make sure when you're walking, you're not looking at your cell phone constantly scrolling, because we don't want you to get hit or run over, okay? Talk to your friends if you can. If some of your friends are cool with meeting in person, go talk to them, go meet with them. If you can, call them up. How's it going? How are you? Do a Zoom chat with them, do a Zoom meeting with them, do a face-to-face, FaceTime. We have this technology where when you're able to see these people in an instant, okay? And when you do talk to your friends, don't talk about school, okay? Maybe if you're going to talk about school, talk about the social part of it. Don't talk about the study part of it, because once that comes up, you're going to stress out, okay? Save that for the review study group. Okay, another way to decompress, watch TV show or movie. Just don't do it during Zoom meetings or class time. This is on your own time when you're not studying, when you're not putting in that time. This is your own time when you need to unwind, okay, during non-school hours and non-study time. Watch a TV show or a movie. Especially now, it's going to help you not think about what's going on in the world that's going to stress us out, or what's going on at school, or what do I have to do. We want you to take care of yourself. Relax your mind and muscles. Okay, this is really important for those of you who like to do a little bit extra physical activity. Try meditating or stretching. This is really good too. Imagine yourself being somewhere where there are no stresses. Think about a stress-free zone that you've been to. If you've gone to vacation, or if you've gone to a beach where you're just like, and there's no care in the world. We want to make sure that you can get rid of all the stuff that we have laying on our shoulders. The studying, the homework, the Zoom meetings, the schedule. We want you to take care of yourself so that you can be successful, not only in your academics, but also in your life, okay? Having stress is not good to carry around with you, especially at a young age, okay? This one's pretty basic. Just breathe. Breathe in and out. Take a deep breath. Hold it for 5 seconds. Let it out. Do that a few times throughout the day if you're stressed out. After a Zoom meeting, if you feel really stressed, if there's a lot on your plate, take a second to focus on the present, the now, right now. It's most important, and just chill out. It's really important for you to make sure that you're handling your stress well. If you let your stress overcome you, it's not going to be good for you and your academics, okay? We want to make sure that you take those breaths. Take a deep breath. Do it throughout the day. Try meditating, try stretching, whatever it is you need. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we have access to. There's all kinds of meditation tips and tools to do yoga on YouTube, all kinds of stuff out there. We just got to seek it out to help us, okay? We can do it in this time of being locked up away in distance learning. We can decompress and unwind from our daily stresses. And I know school is a big stress for a lot of you, okay? So with that, I just want to say that whatever you need, reach out to us. Mrs. Jefferson, you all know her. You have, I believe most of you have her email. Here's my email. You can email me anytime. Even if it's just to say, hey, I need a study tip for A, B, or C, or even if it's not for that, whatever it is you need, we're here for you. We need to make sure that you get taken care of in your academics, okay? So again, do not be afraid to question. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to us. and we'll do our best to get you situated and help you out. Okay. So thanks for watching. Hope that you all have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. All righty.